Hey everybody, welcome back to step 3 of Space Invaders in P5. In the previous 2 steps, we created what you see on the screen here. When we play this, I can move my ship at the bottom, right and left, with the right and left arrow keys, and I have my aliens, all 12 of them, drawn at the top of the screen in 2 rows. There are 2 different types of aliens, and I have 4 different images loading in the preload function. And in this step, we're going to get those aliens to start moving across the screen. So let's do that now. First, we're going to go to the alien file, alien.js file. And at this point, it should look like this. You might want to stop your video here and take a look and make sure you have everything that you see here. We have a constructor and a show method. One thing that's important to do when you go to add new methods is to make sure you understand where these methods begin and end. If you click to the right of the opening curly brace, you'll see where the closing curly brace is that corresponds to that curly brace. It's really important that you don't put functions or methods inside other methods. So the show method begins here on line 16 and closes at line 26. So we're going to put our cursor there and hit enter twice. And we're going to write our next method here below the show method. Just make sure you're not inside another method. We're going to create the move method. So in the move method, we are going to move the aliens, simply doing it like this. This.x, which is its x location on the screen, gets this.x plus this.x direction. Now, if I just write that and I want to test it, nothing's happening yet, but I go back to my sketch file and come in here into the draw method, global draw method, and simply call this method I've just created. Here, we can do it like this. Aliens square bracket I dot move, which is the method I just created. As soon as I add that, what do you know? My aliens are moving as a group across the screen. Now, they're going to move and keep on moving and go right on into cyberspace off to the right there and never come back. Because so far we're just moving them to the right. We're moving them in a positive direction. So we need to add a little bit more. Let's stop this and go back to our aliens.js file. We need to add a little bit more complexity to our move method. First of all, we want to add image animation. If you recall, we have 4 images, 2 for each alien type. We want to switch back and forth between those. So we'll do this. If this dot current image img if it equals, so it'd be triple equal sign. If this current image equals capital A, then let's switch this dot current image img to B. So we're simply switching back and forth between the images. Add an else if here below, asking the opposite question. If this dot current image equals capital B, then this dot current image should be set back to A. You can see here we're simply switching back and forth between A and B. Let's play this and test it now. There you go. I've now added image animation to my aliens. Again, we set the frame rate for this entire animation to a frame rate of 10. That slows it down a bit. If it was at its normal frame rate, those little arms and legs would be moving a little too fast. That's all we need to do for our move method. Now, here below the move method, let's add another method called shift down. This will handle the moving of the aliens when they are to move down the screen. The first thing we're going to do is change the direction of the aliens. So we'll say this dot x direction gets negative this dot x direction. This will change the direction of the aliens on the x-axis. And this dot y gets this dot y plus this dot h. This is the height of one set of aliens. Okay, to utilize this shift down method, we're going to have to go back to our sketch.js file, down into the global draw function, and add a little bit more logic to our program. First thing we need to do is create a variable. We'll call it edge, and this will determine if we've touched the edge. Let's call it var edge, and set it to false. When the game starts, the aliens are not touching the edge. Then, right below our move call, still inside the loop, we're going to ask an if statement like this. If aliens I dot x is greater than width, which is the width of the entire canvas, or, which is double pipe, it's right above the enter key on your keyboard, aliens square bracket I dot x is less than 0. If either of those two things are true, that means we've touched an edge. Curly braces, and then inside that, set edge to true. Edge gets true. Now we're going to go down below our for loop here and add another if statement after the for loop. If, parentheses, edge, which means if edge equals true. You can write it like that. Or that is the same as simply saying if edge. Either way will work. Then go inside a for loop. Well, let's use a different variable. Let's go var k, just someone we haven't used before. If var k gets 0, and while k is less than aliens dot length and k plus plus, again, it's just a basic for loop going through all of the aliens and using k as the counter. Let's go aliens. It's our array. Square bracket k dot shift down. And so, again, the aliens don't move as a whole group. They look like they're moving as a group, but you're actually moving each one individually. So if you've determined that you've touched the edge here on lines 47 and 48, if you've determined that you're on the edge, then after that, if edge is true, shift all the aliens in the array down. All right, let's test this. Our aliens are moving. Obviously, they are not on the edge yet. As soon as they get to the edge, here, they move down. Oh, they seem to move down a little too far. We're going to have to fix that. I figured out the problem with my code. We noticed that the for loop that controls the aliens begins here on line 44 and ends way down here on line 55. I stated in the code as I was writing it that this section of code needed to be outside the loop, but I didn't put it outside the loop. So let's cut it with Control X. That will remove it, go down to the line where the loop ends, and go below that and paste it in here. This second if statement needs to be outside the loop. So if you're getting similar errors to what I got, you need to move that there. And if we test it now, we should see that it works great. The aliens will move to the right. Now they don't shift down as soon as they hit the edge. That's because they don't shift until the center of this alien hits the edge, right? Now, then it shifts. And it starts moving the other direction. The X direction has been set to a negative value. And so they're all moving in a negative direction, which is to the left. And as soon as the center of these aliens here on the edge get to the far left, right now, they'll move down. And they're moving down just the height of one alien. That's pretty much it for step 3 of Space Invaders. In step 4, the final step, we will add the ability to shoot little lasers, and we will also implement what's called collision detection, where we will determine if the lasers are touching the aliens. If so, we will remove the aliens and the lasers and start adding points to the game. So we're getting there. Thanks for watching. See you next time.